Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Saturday morning practice. We'll be spending the next hour and a half together. And so we alternate, for those of you who are new, we alternate from week to week, center around the concept of qi. Last week it was qi is in breathing, and today is qi is in life energy. And so when we talk about life energy, we also talk about something called meridians. These are the channel where energy can travel. And it's not a concept that is well understood yet by the Western scientists. But they are starting to study it, and they actually have proven that what we call meridians are actually path of communications, and what we call the energy points are actually points where there's lowest resistance. So at the end of the class, we're going to be doing a qigong exercise. Gong just means practice, and it's a very old exercise that's brought to us by a Indian yogi by the name of Bodhidharma. He was also the first patriarch of what is now called Zen meditation, as well as the initiator of the Shaolin practice. In any case, let's get started. We're going to start with massage and tap and all kinds of different ways of clearing the channels. We're going to start with the fingertips, the extremities like the fingertips, the toes, the top of the head, the ears, and so forth. We pay particularly importance to them because they're the energies where when the energy goes out of your body and then you eventually come back. And so those are the places where there's a concentration. And so we're going to start with the left hand, and we're going to take the right thumb, and we're just going to gently massage the tip of the fingers one at a time. Now, keep in mind that the hour and a half that we'll be spending together are actually meditation. It doesn't look like it, right? It's not what you think meditation is, which is just sitting still. In fact, meditation can be done sitting still, standing, lying down, walking, as well as exercising. All right. Okay, so now we're done with the fingertips. Let's go to the joints. So each joint, we're going to use the thumb and just massage the front, the left, and the right. Now, no doubt, as the massage, you're going to feel some pain. As we age, our fingers are the first one that uh, uh, experience pain. Pain in the Chinese context is, in fact, an indication of the qi being blocked. So we talk about the qi being life energy, right? It's like the water in your house. All right, now we finished left hands. Now we go to the right hand, right? So when I travel, because I live in San Francisco, these houses are very old, more than 100 years old, and we replace some of the plumbing, but not all of it. And there's no, um, no prediction what's going to happen when I'm gone. So I shut off the water main, right? Okay. Now we're done with the inside of the hand, so we're going to turn around and we're going to start with the back of the hand. Now, the inside of the body, whether it is the palm or the inside of the arm or the front of the body, we consider that yin, away from the sun. And the back of us, the side, uh, the back of the hand, those are considered yang. That's the influence of the sun. And so that came from um, hundreds of millions years ago when our ancestors were started to live in the cave. And so when they're inside the cave, away from the sun, that's we call that yin because they're in what we call the rest and digest mode, right? And then when they're outside in danger, then under the sun, then we call that yang because that's the fight or flight. And so in a way, what we're trying to do is to find the harmony between the two inside of us. So you notice that we don't recommend, it's not that we don't recommend, it's not that our purpose to talk about nutrition here, talk about supplement here. Those are the things you can do. What we really talk about is enhancing or unleashing the self-healing power of a body. All right, so now we're going to work on the back of the hand. So we take the fingers and then we now use the thumb and the index fingers. We put that on the two corners of the fingernail and excuse me, and we just give it a little squeeze like that, right? it's going to be tough for me for the next 2 weeks. I got 2 dogs in the house. The time for us, my wife and I, to do dog sitting. So I got a big German Shepherd and a small one. It's a small dog, and so that's allergy. All right. Okay. Now we're going to work on the back of the hand again, massaging the joints. So here we distinguish between pain as in chronic pain versus acute pain. We distinguish between inflammation as in chronic inflammation versus acute inflammation, right? So when you bump your knee, you twist your ankle, whatever, and you have a lot of pain, we call that acute, right? So you can take pain medicine, you can put some cortisol, you can do all kinds of things to relieve the pain. What we talk about here is chronic, right? And chronic pain is inflammation. All right. All right. So now we're going to work on the knuckles. You notice that we're starting from the fingertips. We'll work all the way to the shoulder, to the top of the head, and then all the way down to the bottom of the feet. So I want you to hold the fist and take the right thumb and the edge of the thumb and just kind of put that in between the knuckle. Massage that a little bit, and then on his side. So I mentioned about how when I travel, I turn off the water because I don't know what's going to happen when I'm gone. And of course, when I return, it sometimes takes half an hour for the water to clear, right? Because there's all kinds of debris and so forth. All right, so now I want you to work on the back of the fists, and you notice that each fingers have individual bones, and then they join together at the wrist. So I want you to take the thumb and just kind of slide that between the bone. So it takes a while to clear the water, right? And it's the same way. So if you think about these meridians, these energy channels, and if they're blocked, then there's all kinds of toxins in your body. Okay, so now I want you to work on some energy points, going from massage to acupressure, right? Acupressure, as in or acupuncture. Acupuncture is when you use a needle. Acupressure is when you just use the thumb. All right. So I'm mainly talking about the energy points that are exposed to the sun. So if you take your fingers and just put that on the wrist, you notice that there is like two dimple. And then I just want you to put your thumb on it, put some pressure on it. Okay. And if you feel pain, then the body's telling you that it needs more work. All right. Now I want you to look at the small fingers come down on the outside, and I want you to find that dimple here and put some pressure on that. Same thing on the thumb, come down on the edge, find that dimple here, and you would notice uh, some a little bit of pain, right? Okay, same thing on this side, same thing on this side, down here, and then here. All right. So now I want you to come back, and because we work on all four fingers now, we're going to work on the thumb. We use the thumb the most. So if you have pain, usually it's in the thumb, right? So I want you to, in fact, our ancestor basically started the evolution by discovering the thumb. Once you have the thumb, then you can break off a branch from the tree and use it as defensive weapons. And you can afford to walk down the trees, right? That's really how everything got started. Let's massage the thumb. Okay, so now I want you to think about this thumb as if it's a drumstick. So there's a I don't know, a muscle in here. So I want you to take the right hand, use a knuckle, and just kind of put some pressure on that. Now, it turns out that this is a very important energy point. It's part of the lung meridian. And okay, over here, same thing. Now, I want you to do the same thing on the center of the palm. Use the knuckle and do that. Use the knuckle and do that. Now, I want you to take the palm, put the center together, and then kind of rub it together, generate some heat. Now, turns out that that energy point is the only energy point in our entire body. There are about 350 of them that actually can generate energy. So that's why we call it a healing hand, right? Now, I want you to take the right palm, put it on top of the left, and squeeze the fingers together and just kind of massage like that. Now, one of the things that uh, I want you to do is in addition to massaging your fingers here, is that you want you to make that in the habit. So when you're watching TV, when you're doing something, spend the time to massage the fingers. All right. Okay. So the other thing that we can do is we can take each of the fingers and grab it and just pull on it. Right. And just, wow, that really hurts. Because if you have arthritis, then that really hurts. Then just be gentle. Be gentle to yourself. Right. Don't try to hurt yourself. But what you find is that initially there's a lot of pain, but over time the pain will go away because the the chi is unblocked. Okay, all right. So now we want to do some qigong exercise with the fingers. There's two sets. The first one is very simple. It's been shown to reduce your chance of having a stroke. Stroke is inflammation, right? Stroke is in the Chinese context is the qi is blocked, and so do you say, well, why do we use the fingers? Well, actually, the Chinese understanding of the qi is that when you are outside the sun, it's dominated by the sun, right? And then when you're when you're inside a cave away from the sun, then the sun is no longer there, and then you're dominated by what is called the five elements. In fact, those are the five closest planets to our Earth, planet Earth, and they're like the Jupiter, the Mars, and so forth. So we consider that the five elements, and they are like the water, the vegetation, the the fire, the soil, and then the mineral, right? And they correspond to the internal organs, the energy of the internal organs. Water is kidney energy, and then the vegetation is the liver energy, and then the fire, obviously, is the heart energy, and the soil is the splint energy, and then finally the mineral is the lung energy. So everything comes in five, okay? Everything comes in five. And so the fingers represents the five elements, and they actually connect to the energy inside of us. So by working with the fingers, it's believed that it will relieve the blockage of the chi, and it's been proven to be very good for reducing your chance of having a stroke, as well as a physical therapy for those who have suffered stroke. It's a very simple exercise. You take your thumb, you take your index finger, you put that together, and then you just squeeze as hard as you can. Then the middle finger, and you squeeze as hard as you can. Then the index finger, same thing. And then the little finger, just squeeze as hard as you can. All right. So now the second part is when you take the thumb and you put it in the middle of the finger, and you do the same thing. You squeeze, middle finger squeeze, index finger squeeze, and then the little finger squeeze. All right. So this is a good exercise. Now the second finger exercise has more to do with the brain, right? So I mentioned I had two dogs in the house, and you notice that dogs are very good with the smell, right? Cats are very good with the eyes, and so their evolution started with the nose or the eyes. Humans' evolution started with the fingers, as I mentioned. So the finger has a lot to do with the brain. All right. Not only that, we wanted to exercise either the left or the right. Okay. All right, so this exercise requires that you sit up straight. So let me stretch the spine towards the ceiling, lean back, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, relax the spine. Then I want you to take the right arm, focus on the right arm using the left brain. Then I want you to bring in the fingers one at a time. So if you can close your eye, just listen. I want you to bring in the thumb, then two fingers, then the index fingers, then the little fingers. Now I want you to lower the right arm, raise the left arm using the right brain. Now we're going to go from the thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Then I want you to bring up both hands, and I want you to squeeze as hard as you can. Then leave the right arm, and then we want to open the fingers in the reverse order. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as you can. That's the first time. The second time, we're going to go a little faster now. Thumb two fingers, index, little fingers. Left hand, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as you can. Open the right arm, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as you can. Finally, the last time, thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Thumb, two fingers, index, little fingers. Squeeze as hard as you can. Right arm, open it. Little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. Left hand, little fingers, index, two fingers, thumb. And then stretch as hard as you can. All right, very simple. Now we're going to put the palms together and the fingers together. We're going to sit up straight. We're going to push the palm together. And then we're going to lower the hand, right? And stretch the wrists and the fingers, right? Okay, so now we're ready to do some tapping. Now, the idea of the tapping is to vibrate the body. So we're going to start with the fingertips. So when you do the tapping, you have to think about as if you're playing a musical instrument. You have to feel it, okay? So get ready, 30 times, go. Okay, now we're going to cross the fingers. Turn out that there are energy points in between the fingers. We're going to tap that 30 times as well. Okay, now we're going to continue. And one of the things I want you to do is I want you to learn to focus your mind, right? Focus your mind on your body. And that's really what meditation is all about, is to train yourself so that your mind is either with the body or with the breath. So many of you practice yoga, right? The word yoga is a Western pronunciation. The original pronunciation in North India is called yuja, and yuja basically is that piece of wood that they put in front of the oxen as they pull a cart. The idea is that they want to synchronize the two oxen, right? And so yuja or yoga really means synchronizing your body with your mind. And so when you do this tapping, it's very important that you try to focus on your body. And when we sit, we focus on the breath. Now, what you find is that when you can actually focus your mind, then you're away from the fight or flight. You're away from the fight or flight. You're actually returning to the rest and digest. And so the biggest health problem that all of the health issues that we have in modern world is that we lost that ability to come back to the rest and digest, right? I was talking about when I was a little, my dad would work during the day, and then when he comes home, we would have dinner, and we only have one light bulb in the house, and electricity is very, very expensive. So, we would turn off the light very early, we go to sleep. So the day and night is very clear, right? Daytime, you're out, you're in fight or flight. Nighttime, you come home, you're rest and digest. Well, guess what? We lost that. We lost that, right? So that's why your body inflames, and that's why you have all these modern disease. And Western medicine is doing a great job in eliminating all that symptom, including painkiller. So if you have chronic pain, and the pain will go away if you just take a painkiller, take an Advil or aspirin or whatever, it will go away. Except that the problem doesn't go away, the inflammation doesn't go away, right? So it's always important to come back to the rest and digest. Rest and digest allows your body to maintain that harmony, allow your body to restore the sensitivity to the stress hormone. When you have too much stress hormone, the body loses that sensitivity. The stress hormone is there to reduce inflammation. Your body was evolved to do that. All right. So what is the easiest way to return to fight or flight? Maintain that concentration, maintain that attention by focusing on your body. Now you notice that we're now 20 minutes into our class. I'm having a hard time keeping my mouth dry. You notice that, right? I'm always having to swallow my saliva. And that's because even though I'm moving, even though I'm talking, I'm still focusing on my body. when I'm moving, and I focus on my breath when I'm not moving. And so that means that I'm not in fight or flight. And when you're not in fight or flight, um, then your salivary gland would be active, right? Because when you fight or flight, the first thing it does is it turns off the salivary gland, because the salivary gland is the signal to the rest of your body that it's time to digest your food, or it's time to bring out your immune system. So when you turn it off in fight or flight, you lose all that. Okay. The way to bring it back simply is just focus. All right. So when we tap, it's very important that you focus. This is the first step towards your health. All right. All right. So now we're going to start tapping more, and we're going to tap inside of a hand, which is what? Yin, right? Away from the sun. So first energy point that we're going to tap would be along the little fingers. So I just want you to put the hands together, forming a V, and focus on this part, right? Not the bone. Focus on this part. And again, anchor your mind on your body. Feel the vibration. Put your body in rest and digest. All right. Get ready. Go. And then now turn it around. And then now this is like the drumstick. So put it together, okay? And then form a V and tap that 30 times. Focus. Again, now we're going to move to the outside of the arm. Actually, first is the edge of the palm. So you take your left hand, you fold it, you see this line, it's just at the edge. So this time we're going to put the palms flat like this. Roll up the fingers. You don't have to hold it tight, and just work on this point. Now, I want you to remember this energy point as well as this energy point. So when we later on we do the tapping of the side of the body, we want to use this energy point. All right, get ready, go. And then now we go from the little fingers. On the inside is named after the heart, or actually more like the mind. And then on the outside is named after the small intestine. So the Chinese for thousands of years understood the intestinal health, the importance of the intestinal health, and how that is related to our mental health. In fact, even the scientists today now call this a second brain. Okay, it is that important, right? Okay, so now we move from the energy line that we name after the small intestine to the one that we name after the large intestine. And so this time I want you to take your fingers, open it like this, and you see this cavity, right? So you take that energy point, you put it on top, we tap that 30 times. And then that's the other side. Okay, since we're talking about pain, this energy point actually is very good for relieving pain. So the way to do acupressure is, again, you stretch out, you see this cavity, and then you see this line here, this ridge. Then you take your thumb, you see this line right here, you put that together, and then you just press in, right? Now you don't use your fingernails, you use the flat part of your thumb. You just kind of press until you feel a little bit of numbness, soreness. And next time when you have pain, this is a good way to relieve that pain. Okay? Same thing on the other side, especially when you have cramp, right? And it relieve the pain. Right. The other one that is very good is if you take your elbow, you measure 4 fingers, you feel the top of the bone, then on the outside you press in. That's very good for your back pain. So many times some of you twisted your back and you have back pain. All you really need to do is relax, right, and let the pain go away. And the other one I find that is very good for back pain is that most of the cars these days have a heated seat, so just use that. That works really well. Just sorry about that allergy. I forgot to take an allergy pill this morning. Okay, all right. So now we're ready for the next exercise, which is I call the action equal to reaction. Action equal reaction is Newton's second law. I used to teach engineering, right? And so that's a finger exercise that we're going to do, which is very good for carpal tunnel. But before we do that, we're going to do another modality called scraping. Now, it's not, you can go to Amazon, you can buy some tools like this, okay? Or some other type, scraping tool. Or you can just take a ruler, or you can use the knuckle, right? So now, when you scrape, you're scraping the energy line. And so I want you to understand that inside the arm is yin, away from the sun. Outside the arm is yang, facing the sun, right? So the inside, we have three energy lines. One is in the center. We named that after the pericardium, which is the outside of the heart. And so you take your knuckle and you start at the elbow, and you might feel some soreness, and that's the body telling you that you need to work on this. So all the way to the wrist, then you come back. Okay, now you move up and you see the top of your hand, which is you feel the bone. On the inside the bone is the energy line that we name after the lung, right? So actually, I hesitate to name it, to call it lung, because then you think about the organ. It's really the energy that is associated with the mineral, right? All right, so now on top of the bone, then on the outside of the bone, again from the elbow to the wrist, then the center part of your arm, we call this the triple warmer, then the back of the hand, the fingers, the thumb, back to the fingers, the back of the hand, and then the center line. Turn your hand so that we're now scraping on the outside of the bone, then on the bone, the inside of the bone, and the center line. And then this is very important. This is the heart of the mind, right? So it's from the little fingers all the way down. There's a part here that is well known for improving the quality of your sleep, and then you go all the way down to the elbow. Now this scraping is been studied very thoroughly by the Western medical scientists, and they believe that there's this basically under the skin, there's the connective tissue, and in between the connective tissues, you have conductive fluid. And by scraping, you're actually relieving the adhesion, and it actually um, has healing power, right? So this is understood. And so from the elbow to the wrist, back to the elbow, inside of the bone, on top of the bone, outside of the bone, in the center, back of the hand, the fingers, back of the hand, and then stretch your arm, the center, rotate your arm so you're outside the bone, on top of the bone, inside the bone, and then along the center line, and then finally to the one that would help you sleep. Okay, now I do this all day long, you know, all day long, because I use computers a lot, right? So I have, as many of you, you have carpal tunnel, and so this is how I relieve the pain, restore the self healing, and then the pain will go away. All right, so now many of you have carpal tunnel, and then many of you have frozen shoulder. Again, it's inflammation. And then some of you might even have what is called a Dowager's bump, right? These are all indication of inflammation. And again, inflammation, when you have pain, that means that your chi is blocked, right? It's that simple. All right, so the next exercise is the fingers. So as first, we're gonna sit up straight, stretch the spine, lean back, relax, lift up the shoulder, open the shoulder, and then relax. And then now we're going to point all fingers in front. Okay. Ivan, this is the exercise for you if you have trigger fingers. Okay. Now you're going to point all the fingers to the front, lock your elbow. You're going to bring in the four fingers. Imagine the four fingers are the springs. Then you're going to use your thumb and just hold down the springs. You're going to wind up the springs, but then you're going to hold it, okay? And then all of a sudden you're going to go bang, 1, as hard as you can, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Come back, open the shoulder, lean, and then stretch your spine, relax the shoulder. Now, if you can, I want you to um, rotate the hip forward and then lean back. That way you put a little bit of pressure on your lower back. That's where the kidneys are, right? So let's try it again. Stretch. Now, if you want, you can lean forward first, and then you lean back but then you hold your hip in place so you feel a little bit of pressure. So the hip is forward, and then the body is back. Keep that pressure, and open the shoulder. Now you're going to bring up your hands, put the thumb and the middle fingers together and stretch out the other 3. We call this the lotus hand. Then we take the lotus hand, we put it in front of a shoulder. There's an energy point here called a gate to the cloud. Once again, open the shoulders, stretch your spine, push out your hip. Now, back of the hand facing the camera. Get ready. 1, back of the hand facing the camera. Back to the lotus hand. Get ready. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay? All right. So this is very good if you have frozen shoulder. Now, we're going to start moving towards the top of the head, right? And now we're going to come to the back of the neck, the back of the ear. Now, that happens to be where the vagus nerve starts. So this is actually a really good way to release the stress in your body and get ready and go into fight or flight. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to sit up straight again. We're going to lift up our shoulder. We're going to open that shoulder. We're going to lean back, and then we're going to relax. Then we take our hands. We put that in the back of the head. We're going to use the thumb and find these 2 cavity. Now, these 2 cavity has a name, and it's called the pond of wind. And so wind is something that you cannot see, cannot taste, cannot smell. You can only feel. So this is the Chinese way of talking about nerve, right? So I want you to massage these 2 cavities. Then I want you to use the thumb and push in as if you're squeezing a water hose. Push in and then lean back slightly, providing some counter pressure, and just hold it. And then relax. Now take the right hand, put that on the left, push in with the 4 fingers. Again, lean back slightly. Now grab the left side of the neck and just pull it to the right gently, as if you're opening a channel. Same thing on the other side. Push in, grab, and then pull it to the right. Now I want you to take the right arm and put that under the ear. Now this is one of the longevity cavity. And again, in modern science, we understood that this is the beginning of the vagus nerve, a big part of the parasympathetic nerve, the nerve system that is responsible for rest and digest. So this is a good place for you to massage before you go to sleep. All right. So I want you to take your hand and just kind of massage across. This is where the vagus nerve runs. Same thing on the other side. Massage under the ear first. Massage the cavity, and then just pull it to the right, the left. Sorry, pull it, and then put your hand on top of the ear and just massage on top of the skull. And then same thing on the other side. And then now I want you to come back, use your thumb, and this time put it on top of the skull. So it's kind of halfway between the ear and the cavity. And just kind of massage that. You notice that there's a lot of stretch there. And this one actually has the name. It's basically means good night. Yeah. All right. So if you have problem falling to sleep, or you think that the quality of your sleep is not good, right? You would know that. When you wake up, it's as if you haven't sleep, or you're having too many dreams at night. That means that your quality of your sleep is not good. Then you want to make a habit of massaging these points. Now I want you to come in and squeeze the neck, bring in your thumb on one side, your finger on the other side, and then go down in the middle and squeeze that some more. Okay, all right. Now we're going to work on the left side of the neck, again uh, uh, from the cavity here. We're going to take the index finger on the right hand side. We're going to form a loop. We're going to put that and just kind of scrape that. And then now we're going to massage these cavities. There's one here on top of the shoulder. It's called the well on the shoulder. Now you notice that as you move around, you will find some more cavities. So right here, right here, around here, and just massage that. And so there's a form of massage called fascia massage. Fascia comes from the Greek word called myofascia, which means the connective tissue of the muscle. So here we're not really massaging the muscle as much as we're massaging the connective tissue. Okay. All right. Now this side, we make a loop, scrape on the bottom of the ear. Okay. This happens to be where the lymph nodes are too, right? And then now massage the cavities, doing some fascia massage on top of the shoulder, back of the shoulder, around the shoulder. Okay. All right. So now we're going to work on the front part, which is the face. All right. So first we're going to do some massage around the eye. All right. So we do that by coming back to our center of the palm where we can actually generate healing power. So we're going to rub that and make sure that your mind is at the center of your palm. You're going to bring up some energy in you. Then I want you to form an empty hand, put that in front of your eye, move the finger so that when you open your eye, you see only darkness, okay? The heat is infrared, so you want to kind of make the eye sensitive to the infrared. So let's do that the first time. Put that on your eye, open your eye, don't feel much. The eye has to adjust. Second time, and put that on the eye. You feel a little bit more warm because the eye is adjusting to the infrared. And then one last time, put it on your eye. Okay. Now I want you to massage the forehead, massage the face, massage in between on the both side of the nose, and then massage the side of the face, and put the center of your palm on your temple and massage that. And then now I want you to massage the center of your eyebrow. This is where you feel a lot of stress as well. You want to massage that before you go to sleep. Then I want you to massage the beginning of the eyebrow. We'll come back to this one. Massage the forehead. Then I want you to massage right here where the hair comes into a point. Then I want you to massage the part of the brain that is responsible for your cognitive function. Move to the back, which is responsible for your memory. And then lower, which is responsible for your motor functions. And then the neck. And then on top of the ears, back to the face. And then the fingers. So just kind of massage the fingers. And then massage the palm. Okay. All right. So ready for massage of the eyes. Right now, the eyes are very important as you age. Right. All kinds of problems with the eyes. So now the eyes have a very complicated set of energy points. There's 3 on the eyebrow, 3 under the eye bag. There's another 2 right here. Now it turns out that in the back that also helps with the eye. There are other energy points that helps with the eye as well. So let's start with the beginning of the eyebrow. So let's take the index finger, put the beginning of the eyebrow. You can feel the cavity there. So sit up straight, push down with the fingertips, not fingernails. Just hold it. You feel the numbness. And then relax. Now put the fingers in between the eyebrow and just like massage the eyebrow as if you're squeezing the toothpaste. So not only are you massaging the 3 energy points, you actually also squeezing the oil tubes into your eye. So as we age, our eye gets dry, not just because we don't have enough tears, but mainly because we don't have enough oil, right? And the oil tubes are right here, they get blocked, right? So it's good that you do this, right? Just do this. It's very, 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 very relaxing anyway. All right, so now we're going to work on the other three energy points, which starts at the corner of the eye and then just towards the back. All right. Now, these two energy points, one here, has to do with the wrinkles. And so when you massage, you actually releasing more collagen. All right. So I want to come back to the corner of the eye. There's one it's called a bright eye. It actually regulates the pressure in your eye. So I want you to use the fingertip, just put some pressure on that. Sit up straight. Now we're going to do some eye yoga, right? As we age, the doctor said, oh, you have lazy eye. So we're going to do some eye yoga, all right? So I want you to turn your eyes up as far up as you can. Close your eye as if you're looking at the ceiling. I want you to turn your eyeballs to the right as if you're looking really far away. Then I want you to turn it down as if you're looking at the floor. Then I want you to turn it to the left, looking as far away as you can, and then come back to the top. Okay, we're going to do clockwise. So top, right, down, left. Top, right, down, left. Top, right, down, left. Come back to top. We're going to counterclockwise, go left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up, left, down, right, up. Okay? Right? Very bright, huh? Very bright. That's good. All right, now you take two fingers, you go from the corner of your eye, you go down to the corner of your mouth, and then to the chin. Just massage those energy points. Then you take the index finger, you go below, right here. Right? Put some pressure on that. Then you put it outside your nostril. Then you massage under your on both sides of your neck. All right. All right. So now we're going to go to the ears. The ears actually contain as many energy points as the rest of the body. The Chinese believe that the ear has the shape of the fetus because it reflects all the energy point that was in the fetus. Amazing. So we separate this into three parts, except that it's upside down. So the top one actually refers to the lower part of the body. And so when you have a lot of stress, it's actually the upper part. The lower part has more to do with the eyes, right? So let's do the top. We'll put the thumb on the top. We put 4 fingers in the back and just kind of massage. We put the thumb in the middle and the fingers in the back. Then we put the index fingers in the bottom, and we put the thumb in the back. Then we massage the tip. We yank 45 degree. Then we massage the edge all the way down to the ear loop. Massage the ear loop, yank. Then we leave the thumb behind the ear loop. We put the index fingers outside of the ear canal, and we massage. Then we massage the back of the ear. And so we take a thumb and just kind of massage the back of the ear from the top to the bottom. Then we take 2 fingers, one on the ear, one on the skull, from the top to the bottom. We do the same thing on the left-hand side. First, we're going to massage the rim from the back. Then we do 2 fingers from the top to the bottom. All right. So I mentioned towards the end of the class, I mentioned about how search has completely changed. Search like Google search, and instead of giving you a bunch of links that you have to go on your own to read the article and absorb the knowledge, they're now using AI search. So on top of the search, they actually take all the material on the internet and then digest it using AI, and then basically write you an article. So if you're interested in the chi or the energy points or the readings that would help with lower your blood pressure, you just ask the question. It will give you a whole list. And so you will find places like the back of the ear, okay, places like this, and a bunch of other places would be very good in lowering your blood pressure. Similarly, with um, or reduce your chance of having a stroke, reducing your cholesterol, uh, things that are good for your diabetes. You can just go on the web and just ask, and they will just give you this knowledge that they synthesize from all the things in the web. In fact, it's such a fundamental change that the small businesses are having a hard time keeping up, because it used to be that if you let's say if I were the guy who wants to build a business on Chinese medicine, in addition to working as a doctor, I want to be like the expert in that field. I would build a website where I would distill all my knowledge, right? And the idea is that you would come to my website, and then Google will put some ad on my website to have you click, and then when you go to Amazon to buy a scraping tool or something, I will get a percentage, right? So that's how you support. I used to do that. I used to have my own website. I did all of that. Well, it turns out that you can't do that anymore because no one will come to you. No one will come to you because AI is replacing all that. So we are seeing a really revolutionary change right before our eyes, right? Okay, so all right, so now where are we? Okay, so we're now ready to tap from the top of the head all the way to the bottom of the feet. Okay, all right. Inflammation from lupus. So these are autoimmune diseases, and so um, lupus, psoriasis, and they're kind of related. They're different, but they're related, and it all has to do with how your immune system is attacking itself through autoimmune. Uh, there's something called pulmonary arthritis, same thing. Joints are being attacked by itself. So um, there's some great study on how um, energizing the vagus nerve helps with that, right? The idea is that your body's attacking itself because your body's out of harmony, right? There is something called autonomous nerve disorder, right? Your body have so much stress, so much stress hormone, so much cortisol in your body that you're losing sensitivity to cortisol. And cortisol is there to reduce inflammation. And so lupus, psoriasis, all those is because of inflammation. And so I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to do that. I'm more interested in maintaining the health and maintaining the health of my students. So we don't need to go to the doctor so often. And also, when you do go to the doctor, they're really there to reduce the symptom, right? So what do? They give you cortisol. They give you cortisol. Oh, no, yeah, they give you steroid, which is cortisol. When your body's already full of cortisol, right? So um, that's just keep doing it, but it's very slow changing. It's that's the nice thing about Western medicine is that it's immediate, right? Here is much more slow changing. It's about changing your lifestyle basically. It takes a while. Just imagine how many years it took for you to get to where you are. All right. So we're gonna tap from the top of the head all the way to the bottom of the feet. So we tap the top of the head because that's where all the yang energy comes together, right? Okay, so now let's stretch your spine, lean back. Now, when you lean back, I want you to feel the lightness in your body. It turns out when you have a lot of stress in you, the easiest thing that you can do is just stretch and then lean back and then relax, right? Now, we all have chairs have we all have back. Chairs now all have back. And that's a very, very modern invention. For thousands of years, we would sit without the back. So when you go to Japan, you would, stay with what's called yokans. And these are traditional Japanese inn where you sleep on the tatami. And they would, most of the time, they don't give you a chair that has a back. They would expect you to sit on the cushion. And when you sit on the cushion, you would have to sit properly, which means that you stretch your spine and then lean back and relax. This is actually the healthiest way to sit. And it's very relaxing because you're removing your load on your muscle. You're putting the weight of the body on top of your spine, okay? And you also energize what is called the guardian vessel, which is your spine. Now, so I want you to stretch, lean back, relax, lift up your shoulder, open your shoulder. Now, this is a 1,000-year exercise. So you will find that people are interested in studying Qigong. Qigong is a very modern word. And back in the days, they would discover archaeology evidence of how people have started practicing what is now called Qigong thousands of years, and they imitate animals. So this is one of the things that animal does, right? So when you do yoga, you have dog, what is called a downward dog, something like that. It's all about the animal. The animal knows that, so they stick up and then they just lift up, and this is very relaxing. And then you lean back your forehead so the ears on top of your shoulder. Once again, you feel the lightness because you're not using the neck muscle anymore. Then you take your chin and you just tuck it in a little bit. So the top of the head, this energy point that we want to tap is now on top of your central nerve system. Then you take your fingers, you point it straight down, you put that on top of your head, and we're going to tap that 30 times. Now, once again, we're playing a musical instrument, so focus on your fingertips, sense the vibration. Get ready, go. Okay, now I want to take the fingertips and just kind of comb your hair with the fingertips. 1, all the way down, 2, and then 3, and then on top of the ear, 1, 2, 3. Okay, all right. So this one here, I used to do that for my dad every day. They live very close, and my dad suffered from dementia. He died about 3 years ago, and it was a very very painful disease for him because all of a sudden you're like, he doesn't recognize anyone. He's very confused, and so I would go over there, and this is what I do for him. I'll tap like this, right, and then after that, and he actually gained some memory. He gained some memory. It was very, very wonderful experience for him. So it's a good therapy for him. Okay. And in fact, one time after I did that, after I did all the exercise that I do here with him, um, I walk with him. You have a walker, so we walk down the hallway, and as he walked down the hallway, he looks into the bathroom, and it's as if recognize something. He actually recognized something. So he walked into the bathroom. He opens the cardboard. He recognized his old spice. He turns to me, his tears coming down. He says, "Thank you for the memory." All right. So now we tap the top of the head. So we're going to move down. Okay. We're going to move down to the top of the shoulder. So stretch, lean back, relax. Now we're going to turn the head to the right. It's important that we exercise by turning your head to the right. So when you turn to the right, you bring up your right hand, you form the empty hand, you put that on your shoulder. So you tap both the top of the shoulder as well as in front of the shoulder. So fingers on top, palm in front, and you sit up straight. You listen with your left ear. You're playing a musical instrument. You're vibrating the body using empty hands. So this is really using air. Okay, get ready, go. Continue. And then now stretch, open, lean back, relax, turn your head to the left. Left hand, empty hand, put that on the right side. Listen with the right ear. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, so I talk about cavities, these longevity cavities. So the back of the ear, the beginning of the vagus nerve, the eyes, now we to the belly button. Okay, so we take the palm. You can put two together like this if you want, and just kind of massage your belly button. So there's actually energy points on top and then one below. And just kind of go around like this. And then I want you to make a big circle clockwise, as if you're massaging the large intestines. So as we age, we tend to have problem with constipation. And again, that's because you don't have enough chi in you. And so you want to kind of do that massage every day. And sometimes it's not that we have constipation, is that the waste stay in the body for too long, right? So it might take a day for it to come out, and that's not a good thing. So you want to massage that, empty the system out try to empty it every day. All right. Now the other two cavities is in the armpit as well as the elbow. So this is where we come back to the thumb. This is the energy point that we want to use. And so we're just going to massage the armpit. And then we're going to massage the other side. And then we're going to massage the elbow, and keep in mind that it's all around the elbow. And then we're going to massage the other side as well. Okay, so we're going to do more tapping. Now, the little fingers is the mind or the heart meridians. It runs like this. There's a muscle here that we often ignore. This is actually part of that energy line. And so these days, people, the Western doctor talks a great deal about muscle, right? And how when we age, we lose muscle, and how we don't want that. This is actually a very important muscle, and you don't want to lose that. And so we're going to do some stretching on that. We're going to take our elbow and put that on top of the head. We're going to sit up straight. So you notice that we're stretching this one, right? So we're going to now squeeze the upper part of our right ear. We're going to turn the head to the right. We're going to bring up the right hand. We're going to use the empty hand to put that on the armpit. Get ready. Go. Continue. Now we're going to do the other side. Take the elbow, put that on top of the head, sit up straight so we're stretching this muscle. And then we're going to pinch the left ear, turn the head to the left hand, empty hand. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, now finally we're going to do the elbow. And so lock the elbow, use the right hand, the empty hand, fingers on top, palm of hand on the side, lift up your left hand, turn your head to the right, listen with the left ear, get ready, go. Continue. And then the other side, lock your elbow, left hand, right ear, get ready, go. Continue. Okay, all right, so now we're going to move from the upper body to the lower body. We'll have to speed up a little, right? Because we want to save time for our Qigong exercise. First, we're going to work on the inside. Again, inside the yin. There's a very important energy point right here. So you go from your knee, you measure 3 fingers, it's on the inside. It's part of the splint energy line. And this one is kind of known for reducing cholesterol. Cholesterol is your body inflamed. The cholesterol is not the problem. The cholesterol is your body's way of heating yourself by trying to fix the inflammation in your vessel. All right. So now we're going to use this energy point. Remember this one? When you fold your hands like this, right here. Okay. Now, empty fist, huh? Okay, get ready, go. Okay, sense the vibration, work with your body. Okay, now in the middle, that's the liver. Okay, now bring your knee together. Inside is liver, outside is the yang energy line that we name after the gallbladder. So we divide into three parts, two energy points. These two are known for reducing your chance of having a stroke. Get ready, go. Second one. Okay, now above the knee is two energy points, below the knee is three. So the first one is actually right here. So if you take your fingers, you come up, you can't go any further. That cavity is a very well-known one, is for improving your immune system. Get ready, go. Okay, so when you tap at the cavity, not at the bone. Okay, now you go down to the middle. This one actually is called the, has to do with the eye again. Okay, get ready, go. And further down. Okay, so this is the one we name after the gallbladder. In front is the one that we name after the stomach. And so you come back to the knee, you measure 4 fingers, you find that bone, and it's on the outside the bone. So we're not tapping the bone, just outside the bone. There's a cavity there. And this one is known for digestion as well as cholesterol. Get ready, go. And then 4 more fingers, find the bone outside the bone. Okay, you ready? Go. Okay, all right, so now we're ready to massage the toes, right? Finally. Now I don't know how many of you have had gout, G-O-U-T, gout, or no, people have gout. So usually gout is around the big toe where it's highly inflamed. It's actually called gout arthritis. It's a form of arthritis. Basically, your body is highly inflamed. And so people know that when you have gout, they know that they have too much uric acid, which comes from your kidney. And these days, there's a report that talks about inflammation, which is a very large study of people from in Sweden, basically talking about the how people separate into two populations as they go from 65 and beyond. And those who live a healthy life, not just a long life, but a healthy life, they're focusing on health span, not lifespan, are people that have very little inflammation in their body. And those who are, they might live a long life, but their body, their health is very bad. Then they have a lot of inflammation in the body. And the one marker is uric acid. So don't think that gout is just a simple problem. Gout is indication. In fact, gout is the precursor for having a stroke. It's very, very serious. And mainly it's around here because you have a blockage of the liver energy. And so in between your big toe, and I want you to use the thumb and just massage that. Okay. And then before they join together, there's a cavity. I want you to push in onto that. Now, this energy point is known for reducing inflammation, particularly cholesterol, but it's also there to reduce blood pressure, right? So you notice that there's a parallel. There's one here, right? Okay, now I want you to flip and bend back the thumb. You see this tendon here. I want you to scrape this. This is called the longevity tendon, because behind that is the liver. Now, liver is the wood element, right? So wood generate fire. Fire is the heart. So it's all related. So I want you to scrape the bottom of your feet now, scrape the heel, scrape the ball area, and then I want you to massage the toes. First, massage the tip of the toes, then massage the inside of the toes. Then I want you to scrape the arch, the arch from the bone to the heel, scrape along that arch. Then I want you to scrape from the ankle all the way to the knee. You find the bone. It's the inside of the bone. This is the splint energy line. And check to see if you have, what is that called? Edema, when you retain water. Okay. That retaining water is not a very good thing. Okay. Now I want you to come to the bottom of your feet, right below the ball area. There's the energy point here called the gushing spring. This is actually this is the energy where the chi comes from the earth, right? So I want you to take the right hand and just gonna massage that. Okay, now we're gonna tap this by bending the toes backward, forming an empty hand. And now we're tapping with the center of the palm and essentially the center of the bottom of your feet. This is fire, this is water. So we're calling this mixing the water and fire. Get ready? Go. Continue. And then now we're going to work on the other side quickly. Again, putting the thumb in between the big toe and the second toe, putting some pressure, flip it over, bend back the toe, scrape the tendon, relax the toe, scrape the bottom of your feet, scrape the heel, scrape the ball area, massage the toes. First massage the tip, then massage in between, then scrape the arch, and then scrape between the ankle and the knee, and then come back and massage the bottom of your feet. Then bend back the toes, form empty hand 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, this practice is invented by a physician back in the Tang Dynasty. He actually wrote this one down when he was 120 years old. He's a very, very famous doctor. He's actually considered a god of Chinese medicine by the Taoists. Okay, all right, so we're ready to get down and do a floor exercise. Today we're going to be working a Qigong exercise called Yi Jing Jing. All right, so first we're going to finish up with some cavity. So back here, where the kidneys are, and then in back of the knee, and then bend your knee, put 4 fingers in behind, a thumb on the side. We're going to tap that 30 times. Get ready, go. Continue. Okay, finally, this one is often overlooked. It's that cavity that is right here, right here. And so I want you to massage that, okay? Now, one of the things happens as we age is that our sex life change. We're no longer as active as before in our sex life. So our reproductive organs um, have changes, right? And so one of the things that you want to do is to make sure that the chi that comes up, which are the yin away from the sun, is the kidney, liver, and the spleen energy. They're not blocked. And so this is, right? And then we're going to form a fifth, fit that between here. We're going to energize that, vibrate that 30 times. Get ready? Go. Okay. All right. So now we're ready for floor exercise, Yi Jing Jing. This one is actually very, very important exercise as we age. It combines stretching, retaining the elasticity of your tendon. It combines cardio, energizing your heart, and then also has one last thing, which is muscle, right? So it's an exercise that we do. First, we're going to focus on the bottom of our feet, and we're going to stand firmly. The width of the feet or the width of the shoulder. Then we're going to turn the toes inward. We're going to lower a knee slightly. So we're energizing the calf. The calf is called the second heart. Okay. Then we're going to open a shoulder and relax, aligning the well with the spring. Then we're going to lean back the forehead so the ears on top of the shoulder, and we're going to tuck in the chin so the top of the head is called the 100 meat, is where all the yang energy comes. So you notice that we're basically forming a conduit between the earth and the heaven. And the chi is actually that magnetic energy that flows with or without you. This is important. Chi flows with or without you. And you rather have it flow in you than not in you, right? Because that's the key to health. And now we're going to take the center of the palm, the one that we said that can generate healing power. We're going to point that to the floor. We're going to bring it back slightly so that we basically have 90 degrees. So you want to bring it back slightly because when you put it in the front, the energy doesn't go up, right? So you want to align that to the side. Now, it's very important that you focus on the center of your palm. And you don't just push with your palm, you actually push the entire body. You focus your entire body on the center of your palm. And then when I say go, you calibrate so that mind, body together, and then you boom, like this, sending a shock wave up your spine to the top of your head. So we call that the spirit boosting palm. Get ready? Go. And then we need to come back to the rest and digest by focusing on the breath. One breath at a time. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. Now, second breath. I know I'm breathing in. I know I'm breathing out. And this is very important. As much you spend time on the energetic, you want to spend time on the restorative, maintaining that harmony. That's how you get self-healing. Okay? Second time, get ready. Open that shoulder. Go. Back to the breath. One last time. Get ready. Open the shoulder. Go. Back to the breath. Now you can feel the inside your mouth. If you truly in the rest and digest, inside your mouth should be wet. Now, but you say, no, it's not wet. It's still very dry. Well, then one thing you can add to it is to put the tip of the tongue behind here. That would turn on your saliva gland. Okay. Now the second form is called pointing. So you take your thumb, you point it to the hip, and then you roll up your fingers and you imagine you have two buckets of water. hanging on your thumb. And you lift up your thumb as if you're lifting up to 2 buckets of water. You hold it, and then you relax without lowering your hand. You back to your breath, 1 breath at a time. Second time, and then relax. 1 last time, and then lower your hand, completely relax. Now, the next one is called the beginner's heart. This is how the baby energizes the heart. When they're inside the womb, they put the thumb across, they roll up their fingers, and then they squeeze their fists. Squeeze as hard as you can, and then open your hand without lowering them. 1 breath, 2 breaths. Second time, squeeze as hard as you can, and then relax. 1 last time, squeeze as hard as you can, and then lower your hand, completely relax. Now we're going to take a deep breath by putting the fists together. Put that in front of your belly button. And as you bring up your fists, I want you to take a deep breath, closing your mouth all the way up, and then relax. Now I want you to bring your elbows together. I want you to think about that athletes where they have these marks in the back. That's where they put the suction cup. The purpose of that is just to open up their energy lines in the back. And we do this by just stretching and then relax. Second time, stretch and then relax. 1 last time, and then relax. Now, this one's called a fist on top of the head. Then we open our shoulder, we open our fingers. We roll the fist by 1 joint, 2 joint, lock it with the thumb, open the shoulder, and we squeeze as if you're fighting with your heart. And then you relax, let the blood come back to the fingertips. So this is very cardio. Second time, squeeze those blood and then relax. 1 last time, squeeze and then relax. The next one is called stabbing the shoulder. So you open your shoulder, you grab the daggers, you point the daggers on your shoulder. Now it's very important that you open the shoulder and you stab and you feel the tightness in the back of your head, back of your neck. And then you go, wow, relax. Let the cheek flows freely. After 2 breaths, second time, stab. And then relax. 1 last time, open the shoulder, stab, and then relax. Now, the next one is called the cross. Now, just keep in mind that we're not punching, we're pushing. So imagine you have 2 big trees in the side that you can already touch. Then all you have to do is rotate the wrist, and then roll your fist, take a deep breath, hold your breath, and push. And then go, bang, relax. After 2 breaths, second time. Bang, relax. 1 last time, roll your wrists, roll your fist, take a deep breath, hold your breath. Bang, completely relax. Bang means avalanche. It's like pushing to cause an avalanche. Now, front hanging. So lock your elbow. The tree is already in front. You can touch it. Roll your wrist, roll your fist, take a deep breath and push. And then relax. Second time. And relax. 1 last time. And then relax. Now the next two is about the muscle. First is about this muscle. So you look up, you see this bar, you're doing a chin up. So you grab the bar and you pull yourself up and then you relax. Second time. And then relax. Now check the inside of your mouth. Completely focus on your breath. See if there's any saliva. See if you feel the wetness inside your mouth. One last time. And then relax. Now, next one is also about the muscle. So this one is more about the heart, the mind, and this one is more about the lung. It's right here. Okay, get ready. Grab the yellow page and rip that open. And then relax. Second time. Rip it open. And then relax. One last time. Relax. Put your fists together. Collect all your saliva. And then swallow. And then make sure that your feet are still. Okay, let me show you this. It's the side. So you notice that my knees are not straight like this. Okay, because you want to use this one. You want to use the calf, right? Okay, but you don't have to go like this. You just kind of loosen it up. All right. Okay, so now straighten up your back because it's not about the next exercise is about your kidney. And you put the back of the hand together like this, and you go like this without standing up. All the way down. Lock your elbow. Then you squeeze your fist one time, back of the hand touching, focusing on your breath. Squeeze your second time, back to the breath. Squeeze the third time. Now you flip your hand. All this time, you don't stand on your knee, okay? And you take a deep breath. You breathe out using the empty hand. And then you breathe in. You point your palm forward. You lower your knee. You see this big rock in front, and you go push. Then you take a deep breath. And then you breathe out. You completely relax. Okay, now we're ready for our meditation. Now, last week, I didn't actually notice the comment or the question, but after class, I went back and I noticed that someone was asking about the sitting position, right? Because when you start, sitting position can be very painful. And so the quick answer is, don't make it painful. Don't try to do something your body's not willing to do. So there's no problem with just sitting on the chair, but just make sure that the height of the chair is such that the bottom of your feet is actually below your knee, that you're not dangling your feet, right? Or that the feet are not in front or in the back, okay? Now, if you want to sit like I do, because there's some additional benefit, then you can sit any way you want. Now, I typically just sit with one in front and one in the back. Sometimes, if I like, I can put one on top, right? Some people can put two on top, but that's not that important. You just have to sit comfortably, but more importantly, you want to sit to make sure that you're not using any muscle. So over the years, I managed to sit flat like this, so not using any muscle. But in the beginning, you might be sitting like this. Then you want to put some pillow, okay? Kay asked me the name of the physician. Ask me again in a group, and I'll put that in. I only know his Chinese name, but I might be able to find something that, or maybe you can do a search on this physician. He's very famous. Okay, so you sit like this, very relaxed. You sit with your hand very relaxed. Don't do this. Relax. No muscle. Muscle is fire. Fire means stress. Stress means fight or flight. We don't want that. Then the next thing is you want to make sure that you stretch your spine. You imagine you're hanging your spine as sitting. So You stretch as hard as you can. Then you lean back. Now, as you lean back, you say, oh, I'm going to fall over. Well, you're not. Because we used to doing this, right? Because we used to walk on all four. And so you can actually lean back and you feel the lightness in you. And then you just relax. Then you lift up your shoulder, you open your shoulder, and you relax. You lean back your forehead so the ears on top of the shoulder, the back of your neck is touching the collar if you have one. Then you tuck in your chin. Then you relax your forehead. You relax between your eyebrow. You close your eye and you imagine your eyelids like the shades. Then you just lower the shades, okay, without shutting it. Just lower it, so you can actually see a little bit of light coming through the eyelashes. Then you take the tip of the tongue, you put it behind here. You close your mouth. All right. So we're going to divide this in 3 steps. First step is just about learning how to breathe with your stomach. So you focus on your breath. You start with knowing. I know that I'm breathing in. I know that I'm breathing out. I can feel my body changes as I breathe in. I can feel my body changes as I breathe out. That already is an achievement. Just know that you're breathing. Most of us don't even know that we're breathing. All right, so now we go from knowing to anchoring. We anchor our mind on our belly button. And when we know that we're breathing in, use your mind. It's as if we're bringing the belly button forward. Just use your mind. When you know that you're breathing out, it's like you're bringing the belly button back. Okay, now in the beginning, don't try to do anything physically. Just use your mind. Move the belly button forward. Move the belly button back. Now, if you relax and you start to feel your breath, you start to enjoy your breath, your body will follow. So as you mentally move your belly button forward, your body will follow. The stomach opens. And as you move the belly button back, the body will follow. The stomach will collapse. Move back slightly. Okay. Now let's try to do that. Just do it relax, because it turns out that this could cause a lot of stress for some people, and you don't want that, because stress means tightening of the muscle, especially the diaphragm. Okay. So by moving your stomach like this as you breathe, you're trying to get your body to breathe with the diaphragm, right? Now the lung has no muscle, so you have to find the muscle somewhere. Now, when the baby were born, the only muscle that they have is their diaphragm. They don't have any other muscle, right? My wife has a nephew who's like 6 months old now. He just started walking. Oh no, actually not even walking. He just started standing because it took that long for the muscle to develop. When he was born, there was no muscle, but there was the diaphragm. The diaphragm is what he has when he's inside the womb. Now, what the Western doctor decided discovered is that if you go back to the way you were when we were a baby, or even inside the mother's womb, we actually go back to the proper way of breathing. These days, we don't breathe with this diaphragm anymore. We breathe with the upper part of our body. We use a different set of muscle. That's why part of our relaxation requires that we lift up our shoulder, open our shoulder, and then lean back and relax by relieving the stress on the upper part of the body, because we're using this part now to move the lung. You really, for health, for unleashing the self-healing power, we got to come back to the way we used to be, which is using the diaphragm. Now, imagine that the fetus inside the mother's womb, they had to have the balance between yin and yang before the fetus is viable. Just think about that. That the energy is the energy that grows them into a viable being. And it's the balance, it's a harmony between the yin and the yang. The yin comes from the mother, right? That's why all our internal organs are separate into the treasure organs, which are yin, and then what's called the chamber organs. And it's always the treasure organs that develop first, because that's the energy that comes from the mother, right? Whereas the yang energy comes from the universe. It is that harmony that makes the fetus viable. And so it's that lack of harmony between the yin and yang that makes the human being non-viable. Our health is because we lost that harmony. So it turns out that when you start breathing with your diaphragm, now of course last week and the week after, we're going to practice, we're going to do much more practice on that. But today, at least we learn that as we breathe in, we move the belly button forward, opening the stomach, lowering the diaphragm. As we breathe out, we move the belly button back, collapsing the stomach, moving the diaphragm up. Only way you could do that is relax. All right. Now, turns out that, and I talk about this almost every time, is that there's been a great study on how that diaphragm, using the diaphragm, using the abdomen to breathe, actually reduce inflammation, because it cycles your body between fight or flight. When you breathe in, heart rate goes up, and then when you breathe out, you're in rest and digest, and the heart rate goes down. And they were able to measure that heart rate variability. The watch can do that too. And then they correlate that with the marker that is associated with dementia. And they did a large population study and showed that half the people who actually practice abdominal breathing has an improvement on their dementia condition. All right. So this is something you want to practice 15 minutes a day, maybe. All right. Now we're going to take you to the second step. The first one is called mindful of your breath to create qi. Qi in this case is the energy in your lower abdomen, what we call dantian, the fuel of fire. The next one is called mindful of the qi to cultivate your mind, the brain. Now, so we come back to the body, we stretch up the torso, we lean back and relax. We open up our shoulder and we relax. This time we're going to focus on the lower part of your spine. We continue to monitor our breathing. You can tell that you're breathing in because your stomach actually moves slightly, opens slightly. You can tell that you're breathing out because your stomach collapses slightly, something you haven't noticed before, okay? Now, I want you to focus on the lower part of your spine. As you breathe in, I want you to move from the lower part of the spine towards the top of the head. I want you to stretch the spine as if you're hanging the spine onto the ceiling. And then when you get to the top of the head and your body start to breathe out, I want you to come back from the forehead down to your nose, across your tongue, move towards the belly button, and I want you to lean back, feel the lightness in your body, and then relax. When you breathe in, I want you to stretch your spine as if you're hanging the spine on the ceiling. As you breathe out, I want you to lean back, feel the lightness, and relax. Let's do that for 3 minutes. That's cycling the chi from one membrane, which is the diaphragm, to another one, which is the one that connects, separates the left brain from the right brain. This is a longevity exercise called microcosmic orbit. Okay, open your eyes. So when we talk about chi, we use different ways of describing it in a way that we can understand. And we call that life energy, we call it that, this and that. But to me, it's basically magnetism. It's magnetism. So how do you generate magnetism? I'll tell you a little story. Back in the days, 1970, early 1970s, you get out from high school, you can actually start driving when you're 15. And so I conned my father into signing that form so I could go and get a learner's permit. And then quickly I bought my first car, and it was a 1965 Impala, Chevrolet Impala, back in the days, right? And we were very poor, and so there's not much we can do with the car. And but I want to change the wiring, so I went and bought a bunch of wires that was like bright red, really colorful. And I remove all the spark plug. If you remember what that is, you got spark plugs you don't have now. You got carburetors you don't have now. And so I line up all the wires. It was a V8 engine, so there was 8 wire plus the one that come from distributors, which you don't have now. And I make it really, really nice. And then all of a sudden the car doesn't run well, start to backfire. And so I said, what's going on? I did these wires. So a guy that I know who knows a lot about cars said, "Oh no, you don't do that. You don't do that. You don't line up the wires like that, because each wire carries electricity, and with the electricity, it generates a magnetic field. And when you have these wires like this, then the magnetic field from one wire will influence the other, and you have a misfire, right? So instead of firing one cylinders at a time, you cause misfire, which means that the next one will fire. And so this is my first lesson in electromagnetism. The idea is that if you align your electrical field and you make it coherent, it will generate magnetism. So what we're doing is we are really aligning our body so that it's part of the universe, and we focus on our mind. We allow the electricity to run through our body in a very coherent way, and as a result, it generates magnetism. And the magnetism interacts with the magnetisms in the universe. And what we call chi is actually the magnetic coupling in us. And just make sure that you understand that chi is there whether you are there or not. Okay, so that's what you want to be, is to be part of the universe. And when that energy runs through you, that's when then you have good health. Right, it's all about that. All right, and the word that I want to remind you is harmony. You don't go and buy that. Right? The richest person in the world cannot buy this. It comes from the universe, and you have to be in harmony between your yin and yang, harmony between your mind and your body in order to be part of it. Money has nothing to do with this. Power has nothing to do with this, right? And once you understand the harmony that keeps you healthy and unleash the self-healing power in you, then you understand the importance of harmony. Harmony with your family, harmonies with your neighbors, harmonies with the rest of the world, harmonies between nation and nation. This is the only way that we can solve our problem. Our problem today is because we don't have harmony anymore. We're destroying the only habitat we have because we don't believe in harmony. We believe in just extracting from the earth and not putting back. That's why I'm here. Is let you appreciate how simple life can be. Okay, all right. So I'll see you all next week. All right, we ran over time 15 minutes. So okay, 星期一見，阿彌陀佛。Okay, bye bye. Thank you for all the donations. Okay, bye bye. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.